All right, I will call to order the July meeting of the Glendale Planning Historic Preservation Commission. We will begin, as always, Becky, if noting on the minutes that we have a full house. I believe we have everybody here, don't we?
Yeah.
Good. So obviously we have a quorum. Members of the commission, you've reviewed the minutes of our last meeting. What is your pleasure with respect to those minutes?
I just have a question. I suggested an edit. Maybe it was yesterday, and I don't know if you got it.
I got it this afternoon, so.
Oh, okay. So I'm not sure everybody's seen it.
I did not, but if you did it, I'm sure it's
Can
fine.
you maybe just can you just say what it was, and then maybe we can approve as amended.
Yeah, right.
Because I didn't bring it with me.
This is a test, Becky.
See how fast my clicking skills are here.
Yeah.
Okay, it is
She was the center to start.
in other business. I passed it. Under historic designation. It says Ms. Solberger said when the sesquicentennial plan was completed, she reviewed, the original verbiage was the district, and she asked that to be changed to historic survey of the village. And identify an area near Albion to become a historic district instead of added to the historic district. Village
become
Yeah,
its own
well,
district.
the difference was, instead of saying that I reviewed the district, I reviewed the survey for the whole village.
Oh,
That's all. So,
okay. I move that we approve the minutes as amended.
second.
All right, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you,
Beth.
Becky.
Thank you, Becky. Let's move on to new business. We'll begin with the request of Robert Keeler, 175 Magnolia. Mr. Keeler, Mrs. Keeler. We've all had a chance to see your plans, so you can tell us as little or as much as you want. We'll take it from there.
Well, we would like to put some new functioning garage doors on our home. We've lived there since 2006, and it's time to be able to park the cars in the garage. And with your permission, yes, I'm sure you'd appreciate that. So with your permission, we picked out a style that is agreeable to us, and we hope would be agreeable with the village. They would both be full functioning, and
There's still overhead door.
the only considerations that I wanted you also to speak to was whether we retain our curved wood facade that's there presently that Barbara Parks put on in the 60s versus taking it off and seeing the full door with the windows. We're flexible with that, but just wanted to get your feedback, your perspective on the architectural aspect.
Mm-hmm.
The curves that are there are a little bit low for someone of my height. I regularly bump my head on them, so I have a personal vendetta, but like I said, we're willing to make them work as is.
If you took them off, you'd take them off all the way across.
We could either take them off, or we could lighten the slope if we went back and just put them a little bit less of a slope.
Yes, Beth.
I have no problem.
Well, I think it's appropriate to remove the curved, you could call it, well, it's not really a fascia,
It's a
is it?
spring line.
But it would be appropriate to remove it because the garage doors are very rectilinear in design, and the rectangular openings would be more appropriate for that kind of door. And seeing how they were added in the 1960s,
Right.
they're not part of the historic fabric of the house. So I would recommend approval.
For removal. For removal, not for
Yeah,
altering.
approval of the application to remove the curved spring lines.
Yeah, spring line arch. Spring line arch is what it is.
And the
I
new
will second.
Oh, I'm sorry. In the new garages, the windows are on the top as opposed to being a third of the way down, so it opens them up.
It's gonna look good.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
We have somebody seconded the motion, didn't they?
Yes.
Okay. We have a motion second. Is there anyone in the audience wishes to address this application? Members of the commission, further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations. Get to work.
Thank you.
move on now to the next application. I've lost my agenda. May I? The request of Jennifer and Michael Reynolds for a deck at 84 East Fountain. Mr. Reynolds. Good evening, Mike. We've seen your plans. You can talk as little or as much as you want, but we prefer little.
It's pretty simple. We have about a 10 by 13 foot deck on the back of our house. It's not in great shape. It's pulling away from the house. We want to replace that deck and we want to make it bigger. So we have plans to make it about a little over, well, it's about 300 square feet instead of 130 square feet. And it's going to just expand from the basically to connect our screen porch to our brick porch that's on the back, but it'll just run across the back of the house. And it's going to be synthetic, not wood, it's going to be synthetic.
Mhm.
So.
Mhm.
Right.
It can't be seen from the public right of way.
I don't think the neighbors can even see it.
Yeah.
All right. Any more questions, comments?
I have a question. I think you're going with 3/4 inch material, synthetic material, right, for the decking?
Yeah, is that what it is? Okay.
And
Yeah.
16-inch spacing? Yeah.
My contractor's
Oh.
here.
Does the product call for 16-inch spacing? Does it say that's okay for that? Because some of those things go like this if you do them at 16.
It's more of a composite, so it's a little bit harder than PVC, so we go 16.
I can't hear you.
It's a composite, so we can go 16 on center, it's not a PVC. So
Oh, it's not PVC,
Yeah,
okay.
so it's a little
Yeah,
bit
good.
harder than a PVC.
Good. Okay.
All right, well, I move approval.
Second?
Motion second to approve. Anyone in the audience wish to address this application? Members of the commission, further discussion. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Mike. All right, moving on to the next request of Jason Sadler at 352 Cleveland for a fence. Mr. Sadler?
Yes, sir. How y'all doing?
Very good, thank you. All right. Once again, we've seen your application. There it is on the board. You can tell us what you would like to do, and we'll take it from there.
Basically, I just want to put a fence up so my dogs can go outside and run and play while I'm cooking a hamburger on the grill, and I don't have to chase them down the road.
And grandbabies.
And grandbabies.
Yeah. Wow. This is not a corner lot, is it?
No.
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 No, it's,
So the wire on the inside, will that be coated wire or just, or?
That I do not know. I paid Lowe's to take care of everything. and-
Well, I would ask that they code it. If
Yeah.
you can do what you want.
It's black coated.
Yeah.
Black
It is
coated.
black coated.
Oh,
Yeah.
good,
Yeah.
good, because otherwise you'll end up with a rusty mess.
Yeah, I don't want that.
No, it is black coated.
Good.
And we've approved other fences like this before.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
I'll move to approve as submitted.
I'll second it.
All right, motion second. Anyone in the audience wish to address this application? Further comments, members of the commission? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations. Thank you. All right, moving on to number 4, request of Megan Holtz at 62 West Sharon for driveway replacement. Mr. Holtz, I presume.
Yeah, today.
All right.
Yeah, so
Very good, Tom.
I think on the application we put down a 10-foot driveway. We're going to do 8 foot because we start reading more of the material, but it will be within 4 feet of the property marker. That's why I'm here to ask. And then we're going to remove all of the concrete, and then we're going to put crusher run down as a base, and then top coat it with brass field, which is a decorative gravel, like brown. And we're gonna run that all the way back to the garage, so past the fence that you see there. And that's what I'm here for.
I was going to say, this is the first one that came up from our ribbon driveway code that we enacted a while last year or the year before. And it meets all the conditions. They're centering the 8-foot gravel driveway. That's one of the exceptions that's allowed. And because it's a permeable surface, they can make it the full 8-foot width. So it meets the ordinance exactly. So I would move to approve the application. And I have the ordinance here if anybody wanted to see it.
I'd like to see it. Thank you. I just have a question. It looks like the current driveway lines up with the garage. Is that right?
It is, you cannot park a full-size vehicle on that pavement that's there.
Yeah.
I know because I keep parking the truck there.
Okay.
Yeah, I walked by it the other day and was looking at the truck hanging off of one side.
Yeah, so it kind of lines up, but you can't get your mirror if you're driving on the concrete past the house.
Yeah.
So it's
Okay.
super tight.
Oh, then the other part of the ordinance, will you continue the gravel to the driveway or to the garage?
Yeah.
All the way back, because since the garage is offset 5 feet, I assume.
Yeah, and the
or-
pad in front of the garage is busted to the point where I need to remove it anyway.
The way the ordinance is written, and once you get past the rear of the house, you have to angle the you know, where you're 4 foot off the property line, you'll have to just angle that edge to line up with the edge of the patio that you have, or the garage.
That's not a problem.
Okay.
Are you gonna have a way to turn around, or are you gonna have to back all the way out of that then?
I'm just gonna do it straight. This is an investment property for us, so I'm gonna make it straight and usable, but I'm not gonna put a turnaround back there.
I made a motion.
Oh, you did motion?
I did.
I didn't hear it. Was there a second?
I didn't hear the motion either.
I'll remake, since, I'll make a motion to approve as submitted.
Okay, I'll second it.
All right. Anyone in the audience wish to address this application? Members of the commission, further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thanks.
Don't go far.
He's up now.
Next request, Megan Holtz at 1100 Congress for a front porch.
Yeah, so there should be a tear down the garage in here as well. So we'll talk about the front porch first.
Okay.
So the front porch, let's just start, it's a mess. So there is deck boards or 5/4 boards down right now. I do, just by looking underneath of it, I can tell you that I'm gonna have to redo a lot of the structure beneath it. The posts that are there are pretty rotten. So we're gonna repair what's there as best we can, replace what we can that's there, and then basically put a new skirting around it, and new deck boards, because I'm gonna have to remove all that to repair it. And then we're gonna put a railing around the whole front of the house there. And the other picture that we had a likeness of what we wanna try to do for that front rail. Something very similar to that. The top will not be that pine, it will be like a, what do I put in there, 2x6 deck board or something like that. Something more decorative. I'll probably router it, make it look really nice, but yeah, something similar to that on the front of that house for the railing. So the posts get fixed, we want to add the railing and fix the structure of the flooring and beneath, right? So, and then also on this application, there should be a widow's walk on the very top of the house. Which is where I want to ask you all here, if that would be appropriate for a 24-inch tall widow's walk. It's
Yeah.
basically a railing around the top of the house, because there is a flat roof on top of that at the very
Not really.
pinnacle of the
On the
roof.
top of the roof.
So it's a hip roof to the very top, and it's got a flat surface around there. I don't know the dimension of that, but we wanted to do something more decorative on the very top of the house, to bring it back to what it would have been.
That feature's not there now, but you want to add that at some point?
Correct. It's not there.
Oh, I see.
Well, basically it's a square, almost square plan Italianate house. And
Yeah.
so doing that is appropriate.
You're talking about
It's-
the widow's walk?
Yeah, at least
Okay.
it's not inappropriate.
So there's no access to get up there, so there won't be any people up there, so it's just for aesthetics only.
Is it just across the top, or the top and sides, or?
Well, it'll
Just
be
that top
four-sided.
section with the black roof there that you can see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just outline that.
On the four
Is that a hat? You said there's
Oh,
no
up there.
access?
No, there's no
Yeah.
access to get up there.
Kevin Malloy had one on his house. He's in the process of rebuilding it.
So there may have been access at some point, Beth, but right now there's not. And I did not climb up into the attic. The roofing guys did climb up from the outside, so I didn't question
Uh-huh.
it.
There could have been a lantern or belvedere up there.
Yeah, I would love to
Even.
find out. I just don't know how
Yeah.
to get the information.
I wanted 1100 Willow that you could just push off and get up there.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so it's appropriate for that type of house. The only question I have is the design of the railing. Is it similar to anything that you've seen in the village?
I can't answer that, I don't know.
Okay, because it looks more like a
Oh,
chalet
the railing
to
on
me.
the front porch?
The railing on the porch.
Oh,
with the,
yes, that's pictures from the village.
is it?
Yeah, we took that at Bob Denny's house, actually.
Looks like it's
At Bob
right there.
whose house?
Denny on
Oh.
Greenville.
Oh, okay, because I was gonna say I looked at a couple other,
The one on the left is Bob Denny's house with all the corbels.
yeah,
The one
yeah,
on
the
the right
brackets.
is.
Well, that's not
is
Bob Denny's,
is
his
not.
is blue, his is
Well,
right next to it, but it's
so-
one of those three.
Yes, the one that are next to it, yes.
Yeah.
I would call those brackets.
Yeah.
The one on the right, no, we do not, that's not from the
The
village.
one on the right, okay,
That's
Okay.
It's inside.
that's okay, because the one on the right is, I'm not sure is appropriate for an Italianate house, and if you look at, I identified, porch railings on Greenville, actually. 893 Greenville, 915 Greenville, and 170 East Fountain.
I'm 160.
So I'm flexible with that.
And
Yeah.
so they, I think it's better to base it, if you're gonna do a reconstruction, on something that exists rather than something conjectural, something that we know is historic.
Sure. We can do that.
So it would just be a simple railing.
You can look at mine, Rob, at 160.
Okay,
It's similar to this, but it's more of a square post.
yeah.
Yeah, as long as you're telling
Yeah.
me that, as long as I'm mimicking something that's already in the village, I'm
Yeah.
fine with
Yeah.
that. That's not a problem.
Okay,
It's not part of the application, just curious, I mean, it's aluminum siding on there,
It is aluminum siding on there right now.
what's the plan for that?
Well, it's gonna get painted. It's gonna get, pressure washed and painted, but that's,
So that would stay.
yeah, it's staying.
I'm not even sure, it looks like, how high is the porch off of the,
No, all right.
I mean, I don't think you officially need to put a railing on. I'm not saying that don't do it,
Right.
you don't have to, and.
No, it's
Yeah.
less than
Because
18 inches.
24 inches is not to code, but since he doesn't have to put one on, that's fine. Because that's fitting between below the turnings on the post, correct, Rob?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, you don't have to do it for stylistic reasons, because Italian houses, there are porches that don't have railings, but I think you want some curb appeal.
That was what we were going after.
Yeah.
yes. That house is pretty
Yeah.
bad.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
once again, thank you for your investment.
Yeah.
No problem. Labor of love.
Yeah.
So, can we talk about the garage demo too, or is that a separate
Is that part of the
application?
It is,
or-
that would be part of the application. It didn't make it on the agenda, but the application was the front porch on the
Okay. Yes,
garage
we
demo.
can talk about that. Can you bring up the picture of the garage?
Sure.
Ooh, what a nice
I
garage.
think it looks like a garage to me.
Looks like a shed.
Yeah, it's in pretty, it's in disrepair at this
Is it
point.
big enough for a car even?
I wouldn't park mine in it. There's holes in the
Old
roof.
Volkswagen.
There's rot, tons of rot.
They had a small car. If you get sold.
Yeah.
Okay, it can go. It's
Yeah.
not significant. I think this would fall under the criterion of a non-contributing outbuilding.
Yeah.
So,
I think so.
okay, so I move approval of the application, including the demolition of the garage, on the condition that the porch, that the railings actually match existing examples
Sure.
of similar houses in the village.
Okay. And you will see me again for this same house because I don't know the next steps. Like we're starting to get into it now. What I mean is the driveway. I'm going to need to replace that. I'm going to have to come back. Like I just don't know what we're going to do yet, or what we want to do yet. If that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yep.
And you said you were gonna replace the porch deck with wood, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Which will be painted?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I have to ask my wife what she's planning to do.
Okay. Bill,
All
no.
right, we have a motion, I didn't hear a second.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve. Anyone in the audience wish to address this application? Members of the commission, further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, let's move on to the last item on the agenda. Les Edwards at 68 Washington for new single-family home. Is
That's nice.
Les Edwards here?
I'm right here.
Oh, welcome.
Thank you.
Except for the
How are we all doing this evening?
Good, good, thank you.
I'm here for two reasons today. First is to get approval for a modular home to be built on at 68 Washington, as well as to get conditional approval for the design. So I'm looking to contract with Clayton Homes, and they were very kind to give me a lot of information because this is unusual where most contractors want to get things in writing before they give me any kind of examples of everything. And so I felt it was best that I get approval from body first before I contract with a builder. And so what you see here is Clayton Homes modular homes. So first, are you all familiar with a modular home? Because it gets attached to mobile and manufactured homes, and this is absolutely not what it is. In fact, with the mobile homes and manufactured homes, they follow the guideline, HUD federal guidelines, where with modular homes, they follow state and local guidelines and building standards and qualities.
There are other examples of prefabricated homes in the village.
Yes.
Pease homes.
And I'm aware, I believe I was told that everywhere but in historic district, excuse me, it's allowed. And that I would have to come here to seek approval. I believe also in my packet, I put in pictures of neighborhood homes that doesn't necessarily fit the district or is similar. I believe I picked one off of Matthew Court, which is not exactly in the district, but is adjacent to the district. And it's literally 4 houses across the street and a curb away from my property.
Are those in the?
I don't remember, where were those included in the email?
It should have been with the initial email.
Okay, because I don't remember receiving them, so I'll have to, that's up there, flip back through there.
68 Washington.
You said the example you're referencing is on Matthews Court?
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Did
could
you
you?
say the example you're referencing
Yeah,
is
there's
on
a
Matthews Court?
Yeah.
That's what I thought you said.
Let me see if I can grab them. Hopefully I have. It is the only gray building on the street. First house as you go around the corner on the right. Yes, it is. Thank you.
Number 1 Matthews?
No.
Is it number 1, Matthews?
I'm looking for the picture.
It is gray, but it was a custom home. It's listed right now for $765.
Yeah, no, that's.
It's gray, but
Is it a ranch style home? Is it a ranch style?
Yeah.
it has spaces on the second floor, but it's truly
Find
can't
it.
be used
Dress.
as escape windows.
Do we have requirements
that was-
stating you
Yeah.
can't do modular homes?
Oh,
We don't have anything in our zoning code
Yeah,
that
that's what I
No.
thought.
prohibits
Right.
modular homes.
So,
There's nothing wrong with modular.
And yes,
No.
the address is 1 Matthews.
Okay.
It was up there for a second.
It was up there for a second, so.
Did everybody see it?
yeah,
Here,
yes.
look real, there you
Oh,
go.
come on.
yeah,
There.
yeah.
Are you saying that's also a modular, or that's just the
No,
style?
that's not
that-
modular. It's just
style?
that's more the style. Again, I'm here for 2 parts: the
Yeah.
approve the module
There's a home.
construction
Well,
as well as the
It's a nice
style.
building.
Yeah, the modular's not a problem.
Oh,
Not a
that's the
problem.
part I've been worried about.
Yeah.
Not a problem. So, take a deep breath, we're past that one.
And there's a house on Cleveland that looks a lot like what,
Yeah.
what you're building here.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back to the design.
I don't see anything wrong with it.
Yeah, there's,
I think it's attractive.
The only thing lacking in the application is a plot plan to show the positioning on the lot.
Right.
A
And
survey.
from what I understand, if I get approval, everything will come in a package and go directly to the building department
Yeah.
before it gets approved.
But as far as placement and setback, for example, setback to the
Uh,
anchor line for
right
the
now, it's
street.
gonna stay on the current foundation. The only thing that will change what I present was to the position of the garage. I finally went to their showroom last Tuesday, and we got to talking about the width of the lot. And I initially wanted on the front right corner to put an attached garage. He talked me out of it. First, because
Oh, yeah, okay.
it would be too wide, it would be questioning what would be the offside of both property line. As well as the other concern was, because that would be actually built on site, and concern adding to the build would, putting it
To the
in would
foundation,
cause potential water intrusion.
But the garage is not part of this.
No,
So
no,
there's
it's
no
not, it's
garage.
not part of that, no.
So does this house fit exactly on the old foundation of the house you tore down?
This is the square footage for this house is 1895, and I believe the old house is 1910, so it is very close.
You know what I'm trying to say is on the lot, is it how far off the property line on each side? How far off the built property line on the front?
With the current
street?
offset line.
Offsets on the front and the sides. We need a plot plan to show that.
And it should be about 18
No,
from
no.
the east side of it.
No,
of the
we need a drawing.
drawing.
yeah.
We need a drawing.
Yeah, so you're
Either a
gonna
survey
come
drawing.
back here with all the final stuff.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Right,
I just
so-
wanted to make sure that you weren't spinning your
The
wheels
house.
for nothing.
No, we're
Yeah.
not spinning the house.
No,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you've done exactly right. We have people come in here who get all their plans, everything done, and they spend money, and we say, nah, I can't do that.
Oh, that's a lot of money
Yeah,
just to get that no.
and because they haven't looked at the requirements. You've come in with something that shows us what the outside looks like. We're gonna say, okay, you just gotta make sure that you know what the setbacks are, and that when they
Yeah,
work
you have
it.
to make sure you get that to them, so that they know what the setbacks are for the sides
We-
and the front and back.
We
and all
need
that.
it, because we need to see
Yeah,
the,
Clayton will put it on paper, but they need to know what our requirements are.
Right.
Yes, and I communicated with you what the setbacks are. Within, if not, then we'll certainly
Right.
have that.
I know you gave me a checklist that I took
Yeah.
with me Tuesday about materials and.
Zoning zoning approval is one matter, planning commission approval is another.
All right.
but as far as the front facade anchor line compared to the houses on each side, we
Yeah.
want that to be in line, not like sitting in the backyard of the lot,
I
for
understand.
example.
Yeah,
That- We need to see that.
There is still a 30-foot setback, so the
All right.
house immediately to the west, I think, has 1.5 feet before you hit the sidewalk, so it doesn't conform.
Oh,
with the
yes.
current zoning code. So you would need to maintain that 30-foot setback in the front
All right,
from the property line.
okay.
And then that, from there, then another 30 foot in the rear, which
Oh,
you
no,
obviously
okay,
have.
yeah.
And then you also, by your description, seem to have side yard setbacks as well.
Yes.
But when you come next month, all those materials should be compiled
And Clayton will
into
do that.
your application.
All right.
And we'll follow up.
All right, excellent.
Okay.
While we have him, do we have any further comments on the house? I mean, for example, the shutters strike me as being disproportionate. I mean, this is,
Right.
this is
Yeah.
obviously manufactured, but it doesn't mean it
Yeah.
can't be,
Eliminated.
or not just
Well-
that, but it still has to be appropriate for the historic.
Now, when you say, not proportionate,
Well, the shutters typically
Have
should
to
be
be useful.
proportionate. So they if they look like they're closing, they would cover the whole window.
oh, I see.
And I don't
what
think
you're
you
saying.
could do
So
that
You want it
on
less
this side.
decorative and more functional.
Or at least like they
Well-
would appear functional.
Here.
Or eliminate altogether. And I'm just throwing it out for discussion.
You-
I'm not saying that's what we
Yeah.
would require, I'm just
I think
opening up
that
discussion.
Probably.
make it stark. I think it's probably better with the shutters in this case. I don't know. That's my opinion.
Well, you can't really do shutters that are correctly proportioned on a double window like
No,
that.
you can't.
The only
You know,
thing is if you had
enormous.
bifold
So I would
shutters,
prefer-
if you had bifold shutters. that were
I
half,
knew he was gonna see that as just a
half
bunch
the
of money
window,
for
so when
nothing.
you fold it.
Right.
Yeah, I would just eliminate them
I would
myself.
too.
They don't,
For that design, you would eliminate them?
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
So
Is that the
so
recommend?
that was my
I'm
comment.
just writing notes for
Yeah,
myself.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're
Yeah.
going through a mini exercise of what is appropriate for architecture. We talked about the site plan, we talked about the modular construction, but really the key element that we deal with is the appropriateness of the architecture. And windows are a key fixture, doorway design, shutters, as I said, gutter design,
Mhm.
chimneys. We used to require chimneys on houses. We do that still on new houses, even fake chimneys.
we do away with that.
I thought we,
I thought we
didn't
did
get
away
rid
with
of
I
that.
thought we got
Got rid of it
Cases.
from garages for sure.
Correct.
Oh.
But I'm
Except
not
on
sure about the
houses.
house part.
And put that cupola on for
We'll
no
have to look
reason.
Yeah.
at that again. Cool.
Becky,
Okay.
could you make a note
We have
in
to
the
check
minutes
that out
to
and
ask
get that
David if
done.
that's still a requirement? I don't know if you follow that. We used to, and for new houses, have a requirement that you have a chimney, even if it wasn't functional, or some sort of decorative feature on the roof of the house. There was a lot of discussion many years ago about eliminating that. We did eliminate it in some
For
instances,
garages, for
for
sure.
garages certainly, but
It can
we don't
essentially
know.
be a box that has siding on it that matches the siding on the house with the corners and all that. You don't have to get real elaborate with it. It doesn't have to be brick or anything like that.
Yeah, but the question is that still required? I
Oh,
think
oh.
it is for houses, but I'm asking David through Becky to communicate with you what the
Okay.
requirements are. As far as the railing, everybody's fine with that for this house?
Yes,
Yeah.
Siding,
well,
Siding
I
is
think
what
it
it
is
is.
vinyl, so I'm
Yeah.
not sure. I think it's appropriate to look at the guidelines for
That's
new
what they're there for.
construction.
Sure.
Which say appropriate placement and orientation for a new structure will vary, but the design and footprint should resemble the placement and orientation of adjacent structures.
That's what you were referring to.
The design must also follow the same setback as other buildings, which varies with location. So I'm not sure what that means for this location.
That's about the same setback as the large tall brick one next to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's setback as well.
okay, well, something to consider when we get the
Now, one of the things,
Plot plan.
with setback in Washington, I believe maybe every third house setback is similar. You know, just looking at the two properties, as we said, one is 2 feet from the street, while the one on my east side is further back than my own house.
And it's that way down
Yeah,
the street.
and it seems like it's more uniform, on the opposite side of the street, because those are much smaller homes. In fact, I believe 74 Washington, that is a new construction brick, two levels, which
Is that
doesn't seem to
on the
conform
corner?
with the street. And so I believe that was one of the pictures I thought I set. There was a home further close to the floral shop that was similar with the wraparound porch, and I was looking for color, shapes, and then looking for things that were maybe an exception in a rule in the past. Because again, my job is, well, I shouldn't say my job, this is my house. I want to make sure I do conform with the community and not be, I don't want to be the best house on the street. certainly.
There's a lot of variety
I will-
on that street too.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. I wish I would just said it just like that.
Yeah. No, all the new houses, I think, have met the setbacks. They may not on the sides, but they met them on the front. The new ones, we've required to be further back than some of the older ones, and that's just the way it's gonna be. It adds to the eclectic nature of our village. So,
Are you gonna try to build this on the same foundation?
It may vary a little, not on the existing foundation. No,
No,
it's a
not-
stone foundation that
Oh,
is
good.
that's already
You're
collapsed.
taking
Good.
that away.
And we're taking that away, and
Okay. But
I
you're
found
gonna-
out with my demo guide that the sewer line is just 5 feet below the surface, and
You got
I'm
that.
no longer putting a full basement just because I would have to pay to put a pump in there to push anything out, and so we're just going to go with a
Crawl space.
crawl space, not stone, I almost said a poured crawl space
Slab
with
on.
pylons on it. Again, I'm trying to educate myself on the manufacturing process and how they bring the two pieces here, hoisted, connected to the foundation. It's very interesting. By any chance, did you all get the video I sent to?
No, I didn't see.
Oh wow, I
see
had
We
a.
didn't see it.
Yeah, they have
I'll
they have
resend
an
it. There was a
interesting one on their
video, a
website.
couple of blogs that I thought were interesting just because I wasn't sure. I know David had mentioned in one of the emails that you do have prefabricated homes in the village, but whenever I mention this to anyone, they look at me like, "What are you talking about? A trailer home?" It's like, no, this is not a trailer home.
So first, you're, the cost between a basement and a crawl space is not that much different, frankly. Because the only thing you're paying for is a
That's
few.
not his problem, though.
I understand, but you could do a full basement and still, there are other houses in the village that have pumps.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And I thought about that, and I don't necessarily have to have the pump. My concern was one of the things I'm going to lose with this house where I'm at now is space, and without a basement, I'm losing storage.
Yeah.
And so I would love to have that, but at the same time, looking at my current basement and talking to Jill, my neighbor next door, she has a lot of water in her basement.
Yeah, but you can, current building requirements, they will put in drain tile around it. And
You can do a sump pump.
And you do a sump pump. I mean, I have a sump pump and it goes off. Well, we haven't had rain for a couple of days and it was still going off this morning. So, and you get a backup for it, which is a couple $100. So in case the electricity goes out like it did on 4th of July, you still have it. And, so I wouldn't,
He'd need a generator for his system if he does that. You're adding a lot of costs. Another alternative is you could do a crawl space, but do it 5 foot deep, so you can still use the existing sewer system. But you'd have that storage where at 5 feet, I mean, you couldn't stand up in it, but you could get a lot of storage into that area.
yeah. All I'm saying is think about it creatively, and they can help you. Now that we've approved it, they can help you think and talk through the cost and the implications of the various options.
I'm trying my best not to cheese like it's my birthday, which it was last week, but that's another story. but don't lock yourself in because of one thing. In this village, we have all sorts of different things, and people can help you. You can talk to various ones of us, and Bob has seen almost every house in the village on one point or the other. But there's lots of different options that can help you get to what you want, as opposed to saying, "Oh, the sewer is only 5 feet deep. That's going to force me to do X." That isn't necessarily true. There are other options. I agree with you because the trade-off with a crawl space is it is exposed to the elements, and you get a lot of trap water. In fact, I was reading where and I guess the waterproofing company now come in and line the floors of it and put a dehumidifier in the center of it, and I'm just like, man, and I still have to every winter crawl under a 3-foot thing just to inspect it, and so I'm getting older, and I didn't want to do that.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Maybe you can put a full basement under part of it and a crawl space under the rest of it. I don't know all the options, but
You
don't
could do that. That's a
don't
good idea.
don't let them say, hey, there has to be A or B. There's other options. Now, your pocketbook is going to control part of that, but and don't be afraid of water.
If they do a good job waterproofing, you shouldn't have a problem. I don't have any water in my basement.
Right. And I got a 100-plus-year-old house, and I have no water in my basement.
I'm sorry, I don't want to jinx you at all.
Yeah. So
I like
don't.
his idea of doing partial crawl space and partial full basement. That'd be real good for you.
Yeah.
I
Do
didn't hear the
crawl space-
partial, and that
do
actually
the crawl
does.
space in the part where the sewer line is, and then do a full basement in the other, in another section.
Very similar to some homes in Forest Park I've seen, where you go down in the basement and there's a half wall deck. Usually it's, I guess, now I'm thinking about towards the front where the kitchen area. That
22 Washington has that right now. They have a crawl space on the west half and full basement on the east half.
Thank you for this information.
Yeah.
So
Now,
we agree on
now, is there any other recommendations from the body?
Do we agree on the getting rid of the shutters?
Yes, well,
Yeah.
3 of us did.
Yeah.
I'm up for that.
Shutters are
Um,
eliminated.
Yeah. But I think the consensus, when you see the site plan, the plot plan
Right.
next month, if you can come back.
Mhm.
And then we'll just tie it all up together and give you what you need.
Mhm.
I think you're right. I think that the elimination of the chimney was just for outbuildings. I think that, I think you still need it for the house.
I think so too.
It's, like I said, it's no big deal. And when you do it, when you're building, it's even better because they flash it right in and
All right.
it won't leak. And
So you get up and down, down.
And I'm asking David to confirm that. And if you don't hear from David the next day or so, you should call David to ask about that question. The faux chimney or
Yeah,
the.
check that. Another thing that I'd just like to mention is I think this is gonna have vinyl siding, and I noticed that it called for a wood grain type vinyl siding.
All right.
and I
You want
would-
a simulated wood grain vinyl.
Well, yeah, and I would suggest that you use a smooth,
yeah.
matte,
Yeah.
matte surface, because wood siding was typically planed smooth. You don't see a raised wood grain on wood.
Plus that raised wood grain just grabs dirt like you wouldn't believe. You'd be out there pressure washing that thing twice a year.
Yeah.
Siding.
So it's more appropriate not to have the wood
You
texture.
don't want
Right,
the
fake
wood.
wood.
it
You want
looks
just the
fake
matte,
anyway.
just the smooth matte finish.
Right.
And that should be an option, what do you think, from the manufacturer?
Oh, yeah, they all come both ways.
Okay. Anything else? Anyone else in the audience wish to address this application?
I don't, do we actually have to approve anything?
No.
Not today, we still need more
Yeah.
information about, especially the site plan.
So,
So I think we need a motion to defer to
You're
next
ready
month.
to move ahead, though. I mean, we're good with just about everything you
Yeah,
presented.
your biggest hurdle was the modular manufactured question, so we resolved that.
okay.
Motion, is there a motion to defer to next month?
So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Second.
Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We'll see you next month. And deal with David, he knows what we need, especially on that chimney issue.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
all have
you.
a good night.
Okay,
Yeah.
you too, thanks.
All right, well, that concludes our items for action today. Oh, they're sneaking out before we're gonna make them talk.
Our other businesses.
Is there any other business that needs to come before the planning commission? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Good
We are
job.
adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
I think they also want to make sure that they don't miss it.